one of our prime ministers, he went to Brazil. And when he came back, his exact words in Chinese was something along the lines of, God must be Brazilian because look at the land Brazil has. Yo guys, this is Jeff, how's it going? And today, I have a special announcement to make. I'm coming to Brazil again. This will be my third trip, and I figure for my third trip, why don't we talk a little bit about the 3 things I love the most about Brazil. I've been wanting to do this video for a very long time, and the reasoning I haven't got a chance to do is I wanted to learn more about the culture. I also wanted to see what was going to happen given what's going on around the world right now. And it turns out nothing's been changed in the last year or so. Everything's totally fine, nothing's wrong, everybody loves each other, and there's no points of tension on the internet. I think for this third trip, I want to do something special. I want to cook for you guys and make you guys some food because we can all use a slice of cake to take away the stress of the day. And I will be doing this at BGS, making a giant bolo de cenoura. We'll be handing it out. We can talk, we can do whatever. It'll be really exciting to make this giant bolo de cenoura for you guys. I'm doing this in collaboration with a local bakery called Ellen's Bakery. And because it is a gaming themed event, I want to do something more special than just a gigantic bolo de cenoura. It's going to be a giant Minecraft cake as a bolo de cenoura. Keep an eye out on the social channels. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram and Twitter, go to my channel and then I'll have a link there for you guys. 3 things I love about Brazil. Love about Brazil. Obviously, most of my videos by myself have been food videos or vlogs. And Brazilian food, there's some I really dislike. The thing I realized about Brazilian food is it's a gigantic melting pot of whatever food Brazil comes in contact with. And there's such a little bit of giving a fuck about the rules that you got things like chocolate pizza. The first time I heard about pizza in Brazil, I'm like, oh, there's a big Italian population, nice thin crust margherita pizza pie. No. I went to this pizza place. Apparently it was one of the best pizza places in Goiânia where my girlfriend lives. I heard her joking about, apple pie pizza and chocolate pizza. And then I looked at the menu and she was not kidding. Chocolate pizza. If I said that to any friend that's a foodie here, that's a chef, that's a culinary expert, they would just projectile vomit at the thought of a chocolate pizza. I didn't order the chocolate one, but I did try this apple pie based pizza. It literally tasted like an apple pie and I didn't really mind it. This got me thinking more about how Brazilian food comes to be, and it's just people doing wherever they feel like. And I feel like that's the ultimate level we want to get with any form of creativity, is just do it. And food-wise, for sure, it is one of my favorite cuisine because it also has the best food I ever tasted is feijoada. I come up with different versions of it myself now where so for an everyday feijoada, I'm not gonna have bacon and sausage in it because then I'll be even fatter than I am now. But at the same time though, I also want it to be delicious. So I came up with my own recipe. And I realized the concept, just the sheer concept of rice, beans, meat. A little salad on the side. Rice, beans, meat, a little salad on the side is probably one of the most delicious combinations of food I've ever had. I've tried cuisines from all over the world, including really expensive French cuisine to the nice little street food that we have here in Vancouver to literally the cheapest food you can possibly find in China. And nothing has ever beaten my first feeling of trying feijoada. I use feijoada almost every single month in my cuisine. I do a healthy variant and it by far has actually made one of the biggest difference in my life. This is probably one of the biggest changes I had in my diet and I feel absolutely great recently. The second thing I love the most about Brazil is by far the beautiful natural scenery. I stayed mostly like a house cat every time I visit a hotel, go to different convention centers, just indoors. But one of my experiences is I went fishing. I went fishing with the father-in-law, my girlfriend, and we went to, I would consider it middle of nowhere. They're like, oh, this is a normal fishery that you can fish at. It's like just in the city. Don't worry about it. And when we went there, it was just little lakes, and then there was trails. You could hear all forms of wildlife, and apparently some of the fish even eats people. When I saw that, I was like, wow, you will never get something like this, at least in where I live. I just focused on the scenery. I focused on the nature. I can honestly feel it was one of the most serene experiences I ever had. Not only only was the air super fresh, not only you felt one with nature, but when you open your eyes after closing them and taking a deep breath, you realize how naturally beautiful the earth really is. And I never had that experience outside of Brazil to that degree, probably because also the fact that I'm not used to like a tropical environment. I've always been around the northern hemisphere. But at the same time though, it kind of showed me that if this is just something in the city, that's something that was kind of like, oh yeah, it's not the most beautiful natural places. I could only imagine where some of the places like the Amazon rainforest and maybe even like the southern coast of Brazil look like. A lot of you guys might not know this because it was more or less internal Chinese news, but in 1980s, one of our prime ministers, he went to Brazil, and when he came back, his exact words in Chinese was something along the lines of, God must be Brazilian because look at the land Brazil has. Right? 上帝是巴西人 is exactly like one of the things that people remember about him saying after that return. They were like, what do you mean by that? And he was describing the natural beauty, this gigantic piece of land of, having the Amazon rainforest, having such a rich, fertile soil, and having fruit trees literally everywhere. And, I feel like as citizens of the world, or as even Brazilians, it's important to take care of such a beautiful, it's a treasure of beauty. Not everyone has that. I can tell you for a fact that in China, we don't have anything like that. In Canada, where I've been growing up, we don't have something like that either. And I feel like as time goes on, as our technology develops, everyone in the world needs to watch what they're doing in terms of environment. And I feel like Brazil has an even bigger role to play just because of how beautiful that land is. We want to preserve that for the generations to come, as long as it doesn't cause detriment to human development. The last thing I want to talk about, the thing I love about Brazil, as much as I will learn more about food and natural beauty, this is one thing that actually I am the most fascinated about is the Brazilian people. This is the part that makes me love Brazil the most. Not because all Brazilians are fantastic. I'm sure everybody deals with assholes every day. There's assholes in every single country. And not also because, there's something unique about the Brazilian people. I think what I really admire about Brazilian culture is because it's so free, at least in the last 20 years or so, that you produce the ultimate levels of creativity, but then yet at the same time, you can have the ultimate levels of laziness. I met people who are super lazy. I met people who are super creative and super hardworking. The spectrum of people in Brazil is almost off-screen wide. Whereas as I lived in Canada, I can position the spectrum kind of here. I don't get surprised, not just because I lived here for a long time, but just because of like the range of freedoms of different kind of rules. I come from China where everything is very rigid, strict rules. And now I grew up in Canada where everything is about treating each other like the way you want to be treated. So it is a little bit more a huge difference in terms of the level of freedom you have versus the level of societal expectations. But what I realized with Brazil is like this kind of spectrum is almost expanded even more to the point where like anything can happen, anyone can do anything, unless they are stuck in a weird economical situation. We know that not every country is perfect, and I feel like even with a lot of the restrictions on certain people, they can be very happy living the lives they can. My impression of it was really from my favorite football player, Ronaldinho, and he kind of resembles a lot of what I felt was Brazilian. He's always smiling, he's a very happy man. He pretty much sambas on people while he's dribbling the football. And after observing the country a little bit more, there's so much more nuance. And yet, it's like, let's not care about the nuances. Let's just do what we need to do or what we want to do. And that type of mentality is I feel like it's almost very unique. You have a weird blend of, hey, we're surviving in a jungle where everything can kill us, with, hey, you know what? Let's dance around this fire for an entire night and not really care about the troubles of the world. It's a very unique combination. And I'm just more and more fascinated by it every single time I go, which is why I love meeting some of you guys. I love talking to you just to learn more, because I feel like Brazil could be a representation of what the world could be if it was left to like the ultimate levels of human freedom. I know no country is perfect. I know there's a lot of things that are going wrong in terms of like crime rates, as well as certain things politically that I'm not really qualified to talk about. But at the same time though, as I'm doing this, as I'm interacting with some of you guys who are from Brazil, I get to learn a lot more, and it just it makes me understand myself ultimately ultimately better. So those are the kind of 3 things I like about Brazil. I feel like this third trip will be very helpful for me to continue to learn and continue to develop myself. I hope you guys enjoy this little talk. Maybe I want to talk to you guys more like this. I'm trying to figure out a few formats. Gets me to do a few more videos. I did more videos this year than I did last year, so that was an improvement, but I still want to, make more content because ultimately it does make me happy. I hope you'll see some of you guys there at BGS. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Give this video a like and share with your friends if they're also kind of curious about what Gringo top 3 things are about Brazil. I'll see you guys next time, and keep an eye out for the Bolo de Cenoura video coming in the next few weeks.